Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Let's Play Morrowind, where we're exploring the Isle of Arches. In the dark. In the middle of the night. Why, you might ask? Well, when you spent most of your entire adult life locked in a prison cell with no windows that's only a little bit bigger than a toilet cubicle, You leave the place with a certain desire to just see the world and everything in it, even if that means seeing it in the middle of the night in the pouring rain. I'm sure Julan's not terribly happy about this, but Fathis could not care less. So here we are, in the middle of the dark, on the Isle of Arches, wandering around. Some sort of butterfly. It's very purple. And we have some ruins. And some dried slaughterfish. Ooh. Ooh. Evidence of a conflict of sorts, I think. Interesting. Very interesting. However, it is so dark now that I really can't see very much. So I think we're going to camp here tonight. as ill-advised as that might seem, judging by the skeletons in there, but we've seen it all at this point. Let's see if anything attacks us, shall we? Let's see. Rest for 6 hours. No, we seem to be good. Alright, cool. So, one thing I need to do, that I keep forgetting to do, is re-equipping the Belt of the Unarmed. Because it's... Yeah, see, that's the problem. Its effect doesn't work unless you're at full magicka. It's kind of awkward. There might be a later version of the code patch that fixes that or something, but I clearly don't have that installed. Which is a bit of a shame. There's a shipwreck down here. Let's go check this out, shall we? Hello, mud crab. Better leave us alone if you know what's good for you. Some incredibly phallic-looking rocks. Dear God. They were being very generous when they called it the Isle of Arches. Hang on a minute. That's a funny-looking crate. Oh, it's empty. Is there any way to get into this ship? Sometimes is, you know. Might be something on board of value. Well, I mean, I can levitate if I need to, but can I see a door? No, I'm not actually sure. Let's find out. Levitate. I instinctively went to water walking then, because I use it so damn often. Ah. So, there is an interior. It does not... Oh! I was going to say it doesn't contain much of value, but I was sorely mistaken. Hello. Candlestick pewter enchanted. An enchanted candlestick. Doesn't seem that special to me, but alright. Or maybe because it's a blue candle. As in, it gives off blue light, as in it's just not just blue wax. We can hit it out again. I said, there we go. Yeah, it's a blue flame. Actually, you see these about quite a lot in Morrowind, don't you? Actually, coloured candles. I forget that sometimes. I'm so used to it. Yeah, I assume they must be enchanted, right? How else do you get that blue flame without, you know, using gas? Gas-powered candle. What a redundant item. Anyway, so... glad you managed to negotiate your way off there. Let us continue exploring. So there's this set of abandoned ruins here. What else do we have over in this direction then? Because this is... yeah. We're on the eastern end of the island now, so what's over on the western side? If anything at all. But you never know, this place seems quite interesting so far, so... Ghosts, apparently. Ghostly, ghostly ghosts. Did you have a name? No, you were just an ancestor ghost. Okay. Find those inside tombs quite often, not just wandering around the countryside of their own accord, though. This is what you expect to find out here. Ah. More growling mirthflies. That sound effect seems to go in, switch between fixed and broken constantly, with no real rhyme or reason at all, to be honest. Oh yeah, this is definitely the Isle of Arches, all right. I don't know if it's even like canonically called that anymore. Here we go, Shrine of the Isle of Arches. I guess it is. Here on the Isle of Arches, Lord Vivek stood as he called up the waters to submerge Morrowind in order to defeat the Akaviri invaders. There you go. It's another shrine for a pilgrimage that we can't do because the Tamriel Rebuilt temple quest line does not appear to work currently. Which is a bit of a shame. But when it does work, I don't know, it might have been disabled in this version of the mod. I don't know, something like that. But it certainly used to be the case when I played this mod last, that it worked. And one of the first quests you have to do is as much like the Pilgrimage of the Seven Graces. You have to do the mainland sort of equivalent, if you like, where you visit a bunch of pilgrimage sites, and one of them is the Isle of Arches here, so there you go. I wonder. Red fire flower. No, it's not an offering. I wonder if it was like the Seven Graces ones where you... You're not enjoying the weather then, I take it. I wondered if it was like the Seven Graces ones, or if I offered the fire flower to it, or whatever, it would give me a buff. But maybe that doesn't work unless you're doing the actual quest. I don't know. What an interesting place, I have to say. What an interesting little place. So out of the way, you'd almost never come here unless you obviously had that quest. And to think, there are probably some of you saying, just go to Port Telvanni, who cares? I care. And this is why. Because you find cool places like this. It's lovely. However, I think this is about everything there is to see here, quite possibly, at this point, unless there's something at the very top of that hill. Oh, no, hello, there's some more ruins here. You see, it's the island that keeps on giving. Hello, Mr. Netch. Yeah, more evidence of, activity. Who knows how long ago? You know what? You know what we need? We need an Elder Scrolls game that has tides. You know? A sea with actual waves and tides. You can get, like, waves in Skyrim, I think, with mods and stuff. But actual tides is in the water goes up, water goes down. Kind of thing. If Bethesda ever make a game set in Black Marsh, that needs to be a thing. Flood levels and stuff, like flood waters and things as well. Not just tides in the sea. Anyway, I think we actually are done here now. So, let's make our way back to whatever the hell this place was called, the Sethandas plantation, and then we'll march across this island here to Port Telvanni. And we should arrive, hopefully, without too many without too many problems like this. Let's go float to the top of the hill, see if there's anything up there. Keep an eye on that icon on the bottom right so I don't fall to me death. Although I do have slow fall potions and I should remember that. I have a nice view from up here if nothing else, although probably not because it's raining and foggy. Well, here we go. Here's the top. Ah, there's more ruins down there. Possibly something there too. More stone arches in the sea, and over there, the mainland, yeah. No, mind. Well, yes, actually the mainland. I was thinking this mainland, though, and then I forgot where I was. It's so confusing. For a second, this is my good old sense of direction and orientation here for you folks. I momentarily thought I was actually over here, but I'm actually over here looking at this mainland instead of here looking at this island here. So, yeah, LOL. Yeah, rather than here, I kind of thought I was up here, to be honest. But, we haven't been to that island over there either. Maybe we should. Clearly these islands have cool stuff on them. But hey. There's Port Telvanni over there, somewhere, in the fog. There's the Sethandas plantation. Ah, how cool is this, guys? How cool is Tamriel Rebuilt? Look at all this stuff. Look at all this stuff they've made for free. Just because they love this game. Alright, I have to admit I wouldn't mind getting somewhere warm and reading a book right about now. Speaking of which, we have the ruins of Kemmel Z still in our backpack, and we've not read it for a little while. I intend to this episode. Yeah, a little pier here. Pier thing. Jetty. My nautical knowledge is a bit lacking, as you might be able to tell. Although I have driven a speedboat before once in my life. That was quite fun. I have to admit. You'd think it's surprising I was allowed to do it, but then at the same time it did occur to me that there's not a lot of stuff to crash into when you're on a speedboat out on the sea. Right. Ah. I've often wanted to go in the construction set and make this robe with this robe's enchantment, just so I don't have to keep wearing the robes I don't like that have the better effect. I might do it eventually. The delightful thing about Morrowind's construction set is it's very simple to use, so... Yeah, I expect there to be a cave entrance at the bottom of that. Alright, okay, I think we are done here. We have searched the island pretty exhaustively. Searched it for what? Nothing really, just things of interest. So now, I suggest we walk our way back across. To, not the mainland, but the other island. Howdy do, Netch. Oh, Netch is Netch leather. You know, when I first played this game many years ago, I ended up killing so many netches because they had netch leather, because I just sort of assumed that netch leather would be a crafting ingredient for something. And it turns out it was, just not for what I was expecting, because you use netch leather for making potions with. I forget what kind of potion exactly, because I don't think netch leather has very many useful effects, but I assumed I could make, like, leather armor out of it or something when I was playing Morrowind for the very first time. Because, let's be honest, this game doesn't explain very much to you. I saw leather, and having extremely minimal experience having played things like World of Warcraft in the past, I assumed, well, I must be able to do some sort of smithing, crafting thing with it. Putting leather in a potion was not something that immediately sprung to mind, it must be said. What if the weather will change when we get across to there? Probably not, actually. This is probably still technically the same region or what have you. Since the weather is region-based in this game. Each one with its own distinct special chances of different types of weather occurring in it. If you cross the border from one region to another, the weather will frequently... No. Will frequently switch from one type to another. You can actually mess with it in the construction, so you can make it so it constantly rains on Red Mountain instead of the Blight. No idea why you do that, but you can do that. That would be another angry slaughterfish. I like that the River Striders also make their own little noises, a bit like the Salt Striders. Right. So, was there a trade house around here, or was there not? I forget. There's this. I think this might be a place we can stop. I don't know, it's been about a week since I last played. Actually, has it really been that long? I don't know, actually. A few days at least, so I can't quite remember. A niche sort of sitting on top of the Salt Strider, that's quite funny. Hitching a ride. Why walk when you can ride, you know? Why float around like a jellyfish when you can ride? Well, this is Telvanni. Some sort of common area we can have a sit down. Get the cold and the wet out. No, it seems to be just sort of tunnels that end in small rooms. Bloody Telvanni. What on? Okay. I wasn't expecting that, I must say. This door is owned, presumably by him. This is interesting. Nice armor. Who the devil are you? Ah. Would you be interested in buying lots of gold off me? No, we can't do that. He'd know it was stolen from the mine, wouldn't he? As much as I'd love to. I could get rid of the Daedric heart, though. I know people yell at me because, you can make Restore Magicka with that. I don't care. Worth more to me is gold. Same with the mummy hearts. Scrap metal I am carrying around for some damn reason. You know what? I'm holding on to those damn things. The way they were growing there next to the shrine just makes me feel like I might need these for something. Somewhere down the line. Maybe a quest or something. I don't know. There's something significant about them. It felt to me, at least. I suppose you'd buy books, would you? No. You know, of course you won't buy the empty inventory of books. Anything else about these drummer coins? Nope. Okay. Random potions I have that I don't need, like that, for example. And that. much gold do you actually have, mate? 600, that's okay. Exclusive restore fatigue. Do I? No, I'll probably hold on to that, actually. I can think of a few instances where that might actually be useful. Probably have more restore fatigue and restore health potions than I really need, but especially since whenever I need to restore health, I typically tend to go straight for the magic items instead of using the potions, but whatever. Actually, spell absorption. Now, who am I kidding? I'll never remember to use it. I will never remember to use it, ever. Same with this bloody bug mask, to be honest with you, but I am going to hold on to that because it might help me out with the quest someday. Oh, I got 3 flipping diamonds here as well. I've already sold him more than he can take, so... Alright, well, I'll take back my spell absorption then, I guess. And what else weighs very little? Stupid paralyzed potion. Salamax! Thank you very much. Shall now be on my way. Now, wait a minute. Didn't I want to do some... I was talking about enchanting, wasn't I? I was like, did I want to do some spell making recently? The answer is no. I did want to see an enchanter, though. I don't think he can do enchanting, can he? I didn't see an enchanting option. I think there was barter spells and spell making. Yeah. Well, I suppose we could take a pew here. Move along, citizen. Will you be introduced, Outlander? I'm Fusa Threlin. How can I help you? You'd ask me where you bought that wig. You also offer spells and spell making. You would be Alamin Nerin. You're an enchanter who unfortunately does not offer their services. And you are Angon Sethandas, I assume the lord and master of this place. I am Angon Sethandas, and this is my domain. What brings you to my plantation? Nothing much, really. I'm just passing through. Anything to say that's interesting? Port Telvanni? Port Telvanni isn't far from here. Just follow the road leading east of here, or take a river strider from the dock. It's the capital of the Telvanni, and quite an impressive sight. Don't expect a warm welcome, though. A bit of furore in Port Telvanni recently over that emissary the Duchess sent over to the Parliament of Bugs. These Outlanders never show any respect. The Parliament of Bugs is the traditional name of the Telvanni Council at Port Telvanni. Few people still use this name nowadays. The Bugs of the Parliament are Nevril Omain, Mouth for Master Mithras of Tel'aran'yun, Areth Morvain, Mouth for Mistress Ratha of Tel'awada, Nathan Maris, Mouth for Mistress Faeryn of Tel Oren, Norahin Daris, Mouth for Master Faeryn of Tel Faeryn, Favors Shulisa, Mouth for Mistress Eldale of Tel Daris, and Malvus Rilvani, Mouth for Archmagister Rilvindral of Tel Fenim. Rilvindral. What have you got to say about Gothran, by the way? Why do you ask? I fully support his work to root out foreign influences from House Telvanni. Yes, I do. I'm not looking to be executed as another spy. See, that's interesting, because Gothran's not really in charge. Rilvindral is, I think. We've got 2 Archmagisters here. You got one on Vardenfell and one on the mainland. Wouldn't mind having a word with Rilvindral, I must admit. It's the highest tower of Port Telvanni, and it's the home of Archmagister Rilvindral, yeah? It seems very Telvanni, doesn't it, to have sort of 2 Archmagisters at the same time for no apparent real reason, and no one seems to care either. Advice? Just because your lord gives you a task, don't assume you should be able to do it. Yeah, I've heard that before. Daedric. Very familiar with them, I'm afraid. Anyway, boring. Boring. You are boring me now, sir. It's not, of course, what I'm saying out loud, but, you know. That's what Sethandas is thinking in his head. You are boring me now. I'm going to leave. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to take a seat down here, since no one seems to object. Nice plates. Alright, so. Let's read. So, I'm going to read some more of the Ruins of Kemel Z right now. And in order to get rid of the annoying background menus, I'm going to put it on the table and then read it like that. Now, of course, if you are not interested in reading the book, you may skip ahead. However, what I will say is that because Sethandas is acutely aware of the fact that the Ruins of Kemel Z themselves they're very famous, obviously, but they're also located on the mainland in the province, sort of sub-province, whatever we'd call it. The district, I suppose. Yeah, that's it. Vardenfell district, Telvanni district, and everything. It's in the same district that he's in right now, so in the interest of him, you know, seeing the world, etc., as we explained earlier in this episode, he very much intends to go to the Ruins of Kemel Z. And so as a result, reading this book does have a tie-in to the gameplay here. So I will say that, you know, I'm not just reading this for the sake of it, I'm reading it because we're actually going to go there. Now, previously, we read up to... forget exactly where, I think around here-ish. It's by this explorer called Rollard Nordson, who went to the Ruins of Kemel Z. And where we got to, I think he just about finished dealing with the locals and had just sort of set up shop in the top level of the ruins, basically. So... Yeah, he was talking about how Dwarven armor is just sort of bits of Dwarven robot repurposed as armor and so on and so forth. So yeah, here we go. I picked up a discarded gear from the piles at my feet. It still gleamed brightly, as if new made, the Dwarven alloys resisting the corrosion of time. I wondered what secrets remained hidden in the maze of chambers that lay before me, defying the efforts of looters, waiting to gleam again in the light they had not seen in long aeons. Waiting for me. It remained only to find them. With an impatient gesture to Master Arum to follow, I strode forward into the gloom. Master Arum, Tenpenny, and I spent several days exploring the ruins, while my assistant set up camp at the top of the cliff and hauled supplies and equipment from the village. I was looking for a promising area to begin excavation, a blocked passage or corridor untouched by looters that might lead to completely untouched areas of the ruins. We found 2 such areas early on, but soon discovered that the many winding passages bypassed the blockage and gave access to the rooms behind. Nevertheless, even these outer areas, for the most part stripped clean of artifacts by generations of looters, were full of interest to the professional archaeologist. Behind a massive bronze door, burst from its hinges by some ancient turmoil of the earth, we discovered a large chamber filled with exquisite wall carvings, which impressed even the jaded Tenpenny, who claimed to have explored every dwarven ruin in Morrowind. They seemed to depict an ancient ritual of some kind, with a long line of classically bearded dwarven elders processing down the side walls, all seemingly bowing to the giant form of a god carved into the front wall of the chamber, which was caught in the act of stepping forth from the crater of a mountain in a cloud of smoke or steam. According to Master Arum, there are no known depictions of dwarven religious rituals, so this was an exciting find indeed. I set a team to work prying the carved panels from the wall, but they were unable to even crack the surface. On closer examination, the chamber appeared to be faced with a metallic substance with the texture and feel of stone, impervious to any of our tools. I considered having Master Arum try his blasting magic on the walls, but decided that the risk of destroying the carvings was too great. Much as I would have preferred to bring them back to the Imperial City, I had to settle for taking rubbings of the carvings. If my colleagues in the Society showed enough interest, I was sure a specialist could be found, perhaps a master alchemist who could find a way to safely remove the panels. I found another curious room at the top of a long winding stair, barely passable due to the fall of rubble from the roof. At the top of the stair was a domed chamber with a large ruined mechanism at its centre. Painted constellations were still visible in some places on the surface of the dome. Master Arum and I agreed that this must have been some kind of observatory, and the mechanism was therefore the remains of a dwarven telescope. And we've seen those before, haven't we? Because we found one of those in Arkanthan, so... To remove it from the ruins down the narrow stairway would require its complete disassembly, which fact no doubt had preserved it from the attention of looters. So I decided to leave it in place for the time being. The existence of this observatory suggested, however, that this room had once been above the surface. Closer examination of the structure revealed that this was indeed a building, not an excavated chamber. The only other doorways from the room were completely blocked, and careful measurements from the top of the cliff to the entry room and then to the observatory had revealed that we were still more than 250 feet below the present ground level. A sobering reminder of the forgotten fury of Red Mountain. This discovery led us to focus our attentions downward. Since we now knew approximately where the ancient surface lay, we could rule out many of the higher blocked passages. One wide passage, impressively flanked with carven pillars, particularly drew my interest. It ended in a massive rockfall, but we could see where the looters had begun and then abandoned a tunnel through this debris. With my team of diggers and Master Aram's magery to assist, I believed we could succeed where our predecessors had failed. I therefore set my team of Dark Elves to work on clearing the passage, relieved finally to be beginning the real exploration of Kemel Z. Soon, I hoped, my boots would be stirring up dust that had lain undisturbed since the dawn of time. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the reading here. We'll pick this up later. But for now, sorry, there's a bit of a break there. Actually, I had to go cook dinner. I sort of briefly looked at the clock while I was reading the text and was like, "Oh crap!" So apologies for a potentially abrupt transition there, but that was the reason. Film's glory, eh? What does that do? Restoration fortified 5 points. Okay. Well, there's some blue enchanted candles right there. Anyway, so let's get out of this place. And let's start heading over to Port Telvanni, shall we? Although I tell you what, I am well and truly lost now. You know what? I haven't got a lot of my stuff repaired in a while. So let's do that. And, Ebony Dagger. You sell a gold 925, value 5,000. Ah! It makes me want to die. It's worth as much as Merrin's razor, for Christ's sake. Ugh. Who can I sell that to that I would get 5,000? Well, I would know. No one would give me 5,000 for that. Except for maybe the talking mud crab. Creeper would probably give me at least a large-ish amount of money for it. He is many, many, many miles away right now, though, so I don't even know why I'm bringing him up. How the hell do I get out of here? Oh my god, I think we have to go back through this, don't we? This place is a maze. Right, there we go. Still raining, I see. Marvellous. Alright, so there is a path that leads to Port Telvanni, and I intend to take that, as it will get us there with a minimum of fuss. However, having said that, I'm having apparently difficulty getting onto the said path. Here we go. Okay. Toodaloo, Sethandas plantation. I have no idea if we'll ever be back here. To be honest, I think it highly unlikely, unless we have to come through here via the river striders in order to get to Port Telvanni on occasion or something, but I doubt that. Although it might be tempting to raid their gold mine again. Still got the gold in my pack, actually. Gonna sell that in Port Telvanni is the idea, but I must keep one. So that I can go back to Telvanni, I think it was, and turn that quest in. Spent enough damn time on it, might as well see the conclusion. But, you know, they're not expecting us back anytime soon, so there's no real rush on the bright side. Still more Telvanni root structure things. Right all over the place. I wouldn't be surprised if this entire island is just sort of like threaded through with this stuff. Like all these mushrooms you see here and all that sort of thing. Wouldn't surprise me if it's all part of the same organism. The whole city being just one big organism, of course. But maybe not, I don't know. As of right now, it's feeling very Shivering Isles, right, to be honest, even by Morrowind standards. Shivering Isles, there's an expansion I've not played in a very, 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 very long time. Oh, hello! It's a Dwemer ruin. How much carrying capacity do I have? Bugger all is the answer. Another time, I think. Because you know there's going to be some stuff in there, and I'm going to want to take it with me. As tempting as it would be to go in there, right, after reading a couple of pages of the ruins of Kemmel's and all that, we just can't. We're carrying too much stuff right now. We need to get to Port Telvanni, find a whole load of traders, and go on a big selling spree that I may quite honestly do off screen, because it will just take that long and it will be that boring. What have we here? Oh, an egg mine. Oh. I'm not that interested in egg mines. You know, in spite of the fact that the modders have probably put loads of hard work into building this place, I'm not necessarily interested in an egg mine right now. I apologise. It's on the Isle of Arches over there. I think it is. Who the devil are you? Father Sylvan, could you help me? I'm trying to get my hands on a green common robe. What? I was just bought from the Telvanni slave market by a Nord who could barely stand. He was so drunk. He said something about that he may have been about freeing me, but I'm not certain. He could barely form coherent sentences. Yeah, welcome to the club. When he passed out, I ran away out of fear that he might hurt me. I took his clothes because, I don't know if you've noticed, but slaves aren't given that much to wear in the markets. I feel a little guilty about it, and I'd like to return them if I can get something else to wear. Why does it have to be specifically a green common robe, though? I do not possess such a specific item, sorry. So what are you telling me is there's yet another naked Nord wandering around here somewhere? Brilliant. Wow, okay. Daedric ruins. Oh. No more over there. I've got to look. I've got to have it. I can't resist. I don't care if I've got no carrying capacity. I've got to have a look.